Seek medical care today. Your health is in your hands.
This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, Bahamas Research and Caicos Islands, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and the Healthy Bahamas Coalition.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, the National Emergency Management Agency giving the all-clear for Grand Bahama and Bimini. Plus, the Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development provides an update on the Small Home Repair Program. And a 73-year-old man found guilty of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, an all-clear given for the island of Grand Bahama, Bimini, and the Keys as Tropical Storm Ian continues to move in a northeast direction. The Category 4 storm that battered Florida could end up being the deadliest storm in the state's history. More than 2.5 million customers remain without power. The extreme northern Bahamas feeling the impact of Hurricane Ian over the past 2 days, but faring well. Director of NEMA Captain Stephen Russell giving a progress report of Grand Bahama and Bimini in the aftermath of the storm during the Office of the Prime Minister's press briefing today. Russell telling reporters that NEMA is quite pleased with how the Northern Islands made out and announces that NEMA is looking to arrange teams on various islands that would assist communities with preparations and response to natural disasters.
All tropical storm warnings and watches have been discontinued as of 6 this morning. That's according to Director of NEMA Captain Stephen Russell, while giving an update on Grand Bahama and Bimini in the aftermath of Category 4 storm Hurricane Ian that lashed Florida yesterday and brought tropical storm conditions to those northern islands. Russell says the islands have fared well, but some long-standing issues persist. West Grand Bahama still pestered by power outages, but teams are reportedly working to restore the power in that area. And over in Alistown, Bimini, Russell notes reports of flooding that possibly comes as a result of seawater moving inland, causing automatic flooding during instances of high tide.
Early in the year, the first week in June, when potential tropical cyclone 1 passed through, the minister and myself, we went into Bimini with a team from the Ministry of Works, and we looked at a drain issue that they have in Bimini, and they're trying to design a system as to how they can best rectify that flooding problem in the central Bimini area.
Additionally, he says the Bimini Clinic was compromised.
Teams from the Defense Force are in Bimini. They're going to assist with securing the roof of that clinic to make sure that no further damage is done to the facility being exposed to the elements, and we hope to have that sorted before noon.
Captain Russell notes the department's contentment with the outcome of this system as it tracks further away from the Bahama Islands. He adds that NEMA has been putting together teams in both Grand Bahama and Cat Island aimed at preparing the community in advance of storms and assisting with a response in the aftermath.
We are truly pleased with how we fared with this system, a very powerful storm impacting the western coast of Florida, severe damages that we are seeing coming from those areas. And we thank God that we have not been impacted by that system. As it comes across to the east coast, it may strengthen a bit, but it's starting to take the track to the north. NEMA, we conducted what we call a community emergency response team training with Grand Bahama, where we trained some 25 persons who were able to come together as a team to respond to or prepare for their communities and respond to any events that may occur in the area. So that's for the area to have a team that is gelling and working together.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, West Grand Bahama and Bimini were the two areas that were expected to feel the brunt of the storm. Tonight, the West Grand Bahama District Administrator is giving his assessments. Jolanda Thompson reports.
Administrator for West Grand Bahama District Ricardo Ferguson says that post-Hurricane Ian assessments revealed that the community had no major impacts from the storm. He says the team drove throughout the island and spoke with residents on the state of their homes. Ferguson adds they also visited settlements in Williamstown, Mactown, Pinders Point, and 8 Mile Rock.
We pass on the back road here in 8 Mile Rock. We have a lot of debris from the sea rocks, some seaweed, some conch shells, but that is presently being addressed right now. We have some persons out there clearing that area right as I speak to you, and so we hope within the probably next hour or so they can be completed, and then it'll be all clear to travel that strip there.
Ferguson also noting that the residents had no major issues.
Going through Williamstown and Russelltown, we spoke to several persons who were there. They didn't have any issues. We went to Pinders Point. We didn't get to speak to anyone, but we did speak with the chairman of the town, of the Pinders Point Township, but all is clear, and they didn't have any issues there.
The administrator contends that they are closely monitoring the water pressure, but is warning residents to remain vigilant when it comes to the surges and possible leftover debris throughout the community.
Wait on the meteorology department to say, let the wind die down, let the surge cease, because right now it's really raging in the back there. We did clear up in the back here, now we see the debris is back.
Now Ferguson says the rough seas in the area of Pinedale 8 Mile Rock is still of concern. He is urging residents to refrain from the area until the conditions subside. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Julanda Thompson.
Well, the Grand Bahama Power Company officials say that only 10% of consumers were impacted by power outages during Tropical Storm Ian. This, as they contend that the storm response plan was activated on Friday, advising them which areas would be impacted. Tonight, they are reporting minor damage across the island as a result of the storm. Aja Quant has this assessment.
Although Grand Bahama was not in the direct path of Hurricane Ian, its impacts of gusty winds and heavy rainfall was felt here on the island. The Grand Bahama Power Company wrapping up their assessments, noting that only 10% of their customers experienced outages during the storm. Following the activation of the GBPC's storm response plan, Health, Safety and Environment Manager Brittany Pratt says that the company's emergency response plan was in ready mode. Those plans being tested just hours into the storm. A video circulated on social media advising motorists to approach the Coral Road area with caution, as a power pole appeared to be leaning in the roadway. The HSE manager says as there may be two factors that caused damage to this particular pole.
One of the factors is the replacement of the pole post-Dorian. So if you look at that area, that pole is in a nice saturated area, a lot of green shrubbery, which means it's well saturated at the roots. And because that pole has it's a main pole, so it has a lot of infrastructure placed on it, not only from GB Power, but also our other utilities. And so we are taking that into fact, and along with our wind gusts. So a lot of people experience different wind gusts in the areas from Hurricane Ian, and so we do believe that played a significant factor.
90% of the island remained without power. However, Pratt says the western end accounts for the 10% without. The outage taking place in the wee hours of the morning.
We would have understood that our feeders did hold up until 3 a.m. this morning. And one thing is that our crews would have been present up to 2 a.m. this morning. We do allow them rest time, and along with the weather, the gusting, which we're still experiencing significant amounts of, our crews will return, identify any other issues to be resolved, and our area, western, should be, or the western end of the island should be up.
And they are reminding the Grand Bahama community that their top priority is safety for their customers and staff, providing quality service before, during, and after a storm. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Aja Quant.
Well, yesterday it was a race against time as residents on Grand Bahama made their way to local water depots and food stores to prepare for tropical storm conditions from Hurricane Ian on Wednesday. Officials from those companies noting a significant uptick in business as Ian threatened 2 northern Bahama islands. Our Raven Davis has that story.
The dreadful memory of Hurricane Dorian still very active in the minds of Grand Bahama residents. Yesterday, as Hurricane Ian threatened West Grand Bahama and Bimini, leaving those islands under tropical storm warning, Grand Bahama residents could be seen making last-minute preparations as they rush to local stores to gather emergency essentials.
From last week, we had customers calling to find out if we had the items like candles and water in stock. They wanted to know the count, they wanted to know the quantity, but starting yesterday, as of yesterday, it was just crazy here. Customers walking in, the items is tuna, corned beef, water, especially water, candles, flashlights, batteries, they're going like hotcake.
Water, one of the most important resources, also a hot commodity, but local water depots were doing their part to keep up with increasing demand.
We definitely have seen an increase in customers coming at both of our locations to refill bottles, purchase new bottles, the whole week, actually. And we all know while some improvements would have been made to the infrastructure, we know what we just recently went through with Dorian as it relates to having good drinking water available. And so I believe that's still fresh in persons' minds, so they're not taking any chances.
Right now it's been challenging, keeping up the amount of water, because a lot of people coming for water very often, and then giving up time the tanks to fill up, so it's been hectic.
Today, the Bahamas Department of Meteorology giving the all-clear for Grand Bahama and Bimini, and emergency personnel are expected to make assessments of the island. Ian has now weakened to a tropical storm, but reminders to stay prepared ahead of natural disasters have remained intact.
Well, especially here in Grand Bahama, it's very, very vital that we are prepared. Grand Bahamians, yes, we are resilient. However, we know what we've been through, so we know that we should not, and we should not, and we won't take anything for granted.
Stay prepared. This is the first one that we're getting threatened with like this, I think, for the season, but the season is still not over yet. And so stockpile on that water. Even if you don't use it now, you may have need for it in the weeks to come.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm Raven Davis.
Well, $3 million have been allocated for Urban Renewal's small home repair program. And since its launch in May, Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development, Lisa Ramming, giving an update on the program's progress during the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing. Ramming noting that many more resident applications are still being reviewed. Simone Davis reports.
While millions of dollars have been allocated for the small home repair program, Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development Lisa Ramming says while we are now in the hurricane season and the weather is a threat to the structure of homes, now is the time to assist those in desperate need of repairs.
The $3 million is allocated for this program to provide repairs and reliefs, and it's to our mind. We are seeking to help some 1,000 homes.
The revolutionized small home repair program was officially launched on Grand Bahama back in May of this year. The minister says it was important to not only focus on roof repairs, but also other facets of the home. She adds that since its launch, many homes have been restored on various islands.
We started our launch was some 4 to 5 months ago. And today, we have completed 180 homes completed. That's New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the other family of islands. We've completed.
Ramming said beneficiaries of the program should expect high-quality home renovations.
It is our goal to provide Bahamians with safer, more secure homes, and certainly to improve their living conditions. It is a worthy cause that I am proud of, because walking door to door and seeing the conditions that people live in break my heart.
Ramming also emphasized that there is a thorough vetting process for applicants to ensure that only persons who genuinely require help will benefit from the program.
Help will be delivered based on need rather than connections.
While revealing that resources are limited, the Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development addressed the concerns of applicants who are waiting on a response or approval, ensuring that they are not being ignored, and she will get to them as soon as possible. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, as of October 1st, 2022, wearing a mask will be a personal choice for Bahamians as the government announced the relaxation of the mask mandate last week. During the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing this morning, the Chief Medical Officer explaining the new policy change with some exceptions. Simone Davis reports.
The much-anticipated mask mandate will be relaxed on Saturday, October 1st, as Bahamians will no longer be required to wear a mask in the country, with the exception of those accessing healthcare facilities, visiting senior care homes, or in an indoor classroom setting. While the government made that announcement last week, during the Office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing today, Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Philip Swan elaborated on the amended mask mandate.
Despite the fact that several restrictions that have been relaxed by recommendations by the Advisory Committee, the rationale behind doing so is generally based on the need for residents to intentionally exercise personal responsibility. An interpretation of personal responsibility is, in this context, is considering your health risks, that of your neighbor and family, and that of the community and country. If you feel that you need to wear a face mask, for example, please do. And if you do not feel that you need to wear a mask and the circumstances provide that you don't have to, then don't.
Dr. Swan also revealing how the advisory committee within the Ministry of Health concluded that it was time to adjust the policy.
This is the outcome. General relaxation is the first component. It has been widely panned and shared that the adherence to the mask mandate is less than acceptable, with the Royal Bahamas Police Force not being able to enforce it uniformly or equitably across the various sectors and levels of activity. Despite this, however, we note there has been no increase in cases of COVID-19 reported, and hospitalizations also remain low, and vaccination campaigns have not had the expected result, despite the funds expended, the research in human behavior undertaken, and the varying approaches to increase uptake.
He also explains the decision to maintain the mask policy in certain settings.
And these are some of the reasons why we maintained that posture. There are reports of increased cases of influenza-like illnesses not determined to be COVID-19 in 1 or 2 schools that require the need for additional action and caution. There are no other settings where individuals are in such close proximity to for multiple fixed periods of time of 60 to 90 minutes a day in closed settings. The vaccination levels among school-age children are among the lowest. I would even say suboptimal, they're just the lowest. But the same can be said to some extent to the groups that work with them. And there is some challenge with parents adhering to protocols of taking children for testing when they present with symptoms of an influenza-like illness.
Despite the new policy adjustment, officials said Bahamians might still choose to wear a mask in crowded settings and added that their decision to do so should be respected. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Simone Davis.
In news from the crime beat, a 73-year-old man found guilty of unlawful sexual intercourse with an 8-year-old. Norman Ferguson, age 73, appeared before Justice Andrew Forbes in the Freeport Supreme Court for the offense of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor on Wednesday. You may recall that when he was first charged back in 2019, he insisted on his innocence, saying that he would not wait until 70 to fool with the little girl. However, Ferguson was found guilty 9-0 on the charge. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correction until November 22nd, 2022 for sentencing. Meanwhile, police on Abaco are searching for leads into a shooting incident that has left 1 man dead. Officers at the Sandy Point Police Station received reports of gunshots being heard in the area of Crossing Rock, South Abaco. Uniformed officers were dispatched to investigate. Once the officers arrived on the scene, they were directed to a business establishment near the wooden staircase, where they discovered the lifeless body of an adult male clad in all white with apparent gunshot injuries about the body. body. Additionally, officers recovered a black 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 2 live rounds of .9mm ammunition. The victim was transported to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where he was examined by a doctor and pronounced dead. The matter remains under active investigations. And 27-year-old Dylan Williams appeared before Magistrate Simone Brown in the Freeport Magistrate Court No. 4. Williams was arraigned for violation of bail conditions, breach of curfew. He pleaded not guilty and was granted bail in the sum of $5,000 with 2 sureties. The matter has been adjourned to November 24th of this year. And 4 juvenile males appeared before the juvenile panel in the Marsh Harbor Magistrate Court, charged with causing grievous harm. The group pleaded not guilty and granted bail in the amount of $5,000 each with 2 sureties. They were ordered to sign in to the Marsh Harbor Police Station daily before 7 p.m. and to have no contact with the virtual complainant. This incident stems from a stabbing of a juvenile in Abaco on Thursday, September 22nd of this year. The juveniles are expected back before the juvenile panel on February 2nd of next year. And when we come back, the Falcons Boys Club, in conjunction with the Progressive Aviation Group, giving 22 men a deep dive into their career. That story, including sports, when we return.
Mommy, kids eat free at Pizza. Free? What you talking about? On Tuesdays and Sundays, you can take me there and eat free any time of the day. $1 per child, and you only have to spend $10 so I could eat free.
That's an amazing deal.
They also have 2 medium, 1-topping pizzas, a 2-liter soda for only $25.85 VAT inclusive.
What?
Call 352-9191.
We're going there now.
Pizza Hut Freeport, for the love of pizza.
With over 30 years of service with integrity, services in Abaco, New Providence, and Grand Bahama, providing modern and state-of-the-art equipment, specializing in the maintenance and operation of waste treatment plants, waste oil movement, sludge extraction, tank cleaning, elite portable toilets, and hand wash stations. We are efficient, reliable, and cutting edge. We are B&B Galaxy.
Bonaventure Medical Laboratory, we are a medical lab that's all-encompassing. We have a full test menu. We do a lot of the tumor markers, such as the PSAs for prostate cancer, the CEA for colon cancer, CA125 for ovarian cancer. We do infectious disease testing, do some drug screen testing, paternity testing, all the regular services that the private medical lab would offer. And if there's something that we don't do in-house, we have a reference lab that we send our samples to. So, there's no lab test that we're not able to have done for you. If we don't do it in-house, we make sure it gets done. The government subsidizes the NHI, so your lab tests are actually free. So if you go to an NHI physician, she simply gives you a requisition form, you bring it to the lab, and you're not paying for your lab test. Our hours of operation in Freeport, we're here from 8 a.m. every day until 4 p.m., except on Saturdays, it's from 8 a.m. until 2. Contact information, Freeport is 352-5220. We also have a website, www.bonaventurelab.com.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Falcons Boys Club, in conjunction with Progressive Aviation Group, giving 22 young men a deep dive into a possible career in the aviation industry. Falcons Boys Club Director Pastor Darren Roll and Champs Mission founder and president Rick Schusler say the students were left intrigued about the possibilities.
We are so grateful today for Progressive Aviation, Mr. Kenneth Wims and his partners, for actually bringing their flight here to Grand Bahama today to encourage our young men.
With Mr. Roll having this seminar for the boys, they were getting well educated on a possibility of being a pilot, of being a plane fix the engines, or whatever in aviation. Asked a lot of questions. They are also challenged to make sure they keep their studies up. And all the boys said they got their studies going good. They really want to make a better person of themselves.
Vice President of Operations for Progressive Aviation Group, Adrian Jones, sharing that not only can the students become pilots or mechanics in the field, there are also two key areas they can strive to work in.
We discuss piloting, mechanic maintenance, we discuss flight operations, just different portions of the aviation industry. I actually spoke to them specifically about two options to get into the industry that you don't necessarily need to be a pilot or mechanic to get into, which was aircraft sales and charter brokering. So those, it's just more so just familiarity with aircraft types and networking and having the right people in your circle to provide those opportunities for you.
Shane Stubbs has your check on sports. He's coming up next.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shane Stubbs, and welcome to Sports. The playoffs continued in the Grand Bahama Softball Amateur Softball Association, and in case you missed it, here are some highlights.
This game came down to extra innings. Cooper had a massive home run to keep the score tight. When it was all set and done, Kelly's was the victors in this game, led by Leon Cooper on the mound.
We came in playing with 9 today, so we knew we had to just to fight. Being last home team, we just tell them let's fight from the start to finish. We had a couple of injuries, we tell them they stick it out for us, and we just had to make the plays in the end and just come with the win and be thankful.
The playoffs will continue this weekend on Friday with 2 games. Pats uniform will go up against GBPA in co-ed action, followed by Pats again going up against QCB Warriors in men's fast pitch. Now on Saturday, Lady Diamond Reds will go up against Aces of Bases in ladies fast pitch, Express versus CLA Hitters in all men, and Coopers will match up against Immigration in co-ed play. Now on Sunday, beginning at 5:30 p.m., CLA Hitters will take on Express in all men play, and Aces of Bases will match up against Lady Diamond Reds in ladies fast pitch.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is your quick look at sports. I am Shane Stubbs. Be safe and be great.
For designer shoes, sandals, accessories, and handbags, visit Steppin' Out. Now at 2 locations, Old Sam's Plaza Freeport and top of the hill Mackey Street, Nassau. Steppin' Out, when you want to put your best foot forward.
Come on down to Superb Water Depot and Snacks. We sell and we deliver ice, drinks, purified water, alkaline water, and a variety of snacks. Your one-stop shop for all your snacks and water needs. Contact 242-820-2482. We are located number 2 La France Plaza, Peachtree Street. Purified water, 50 cents a gallon. Alkaline water, 80 cents a gallon. Come on now, you can't beat that. We offer superb quality, superb taste, and superb service. Monday to Saturday, 8 to 8, and Sundays, 8 to 2. Superb Water Depot and Snacks. Come on down.
Esquire Men's Freeport has extended its summer sidewalk savings into September. Everything $30 and under every Saturday during September. Call them at 352-8816. Come and see the cabinets and countertops in stock now at Specialty Kitchen and Bath. Number 16 Oak Street. Phone 688-9661.
Island Bedding has the biggest summer sale going on right now. Special. Comforters, mattress pads, sheets, toppers, and best of all, mattress. 35% off, 45% off, 50% off. Oh my goodness! Special, people!
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Justin Mizik, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and we want to wish you a special happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed your day. Thank you so much for your support. And of course, it's Thursday night football. The Miami Dolphins will be in action tonight. Tomorrow, I'm coming dressed in all orange because I know we'll be 4-0. And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, considered factors for continued school mask wearing. The Bahamas given the all clear. Gibson's recusal request denied. And Buddy looks ahead to new NBA season. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Come Saturday, October 1st, personal responsibility will be put to the test when the long-held COVID mask mandate is relaxed. That then means that if you believe there's a need to wear a face mask, do so. Should circumstances dictate otherwise, don't. But as Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Philip Swan notes, you do not have the right to ridicule or chastise those who do. However, mask wearing is still a must in areas officials see as critical, one of them classroom settings. And here's the rationale behind it.
Reports of increased cases of influenza-like illnesses are not determined to be COVID-19 in 1 or 2 schools that require the need for additional action and caution. There are no other settings where individuals are in such close proximity to for multiple fixed periods of time of 60 to 90 minutes a day in closed settings. The vaccination levels among school-age children are among the lowest. I would even say suboptimal, they're just the lowest. And the same can be said to some extent to the groups that work with them. And there is some challenge with parents adhering to protocols of taking children for testing when they present with symptoms of an influenza-like illness.
Of the mask mandate comes amid continued concern over the rate of COVID-19 vaccination in country.
Week over week, the numbers of newly vaccinated individuals are trending between 150 to 200 over the past 2 reporting periods, and fully vaccinated increasing by an average of 250 persons each week during the same period. Pediatric vaccines remain available, and though the uptake is still being weighed as to success in the past 5 weeks, final arrangements are being made to facilitate the delivery of vaccines in the school settings, and we hope to have letters to parents and guardians to grant consent within the next 2 weeks.
Well, now as good a time as any to look at the latest COVID numbers. September 27th saw 14 new infections, 7 on New Providence, the other 7 on Grand Bahama. Meantime, hospitalizations are at 28, now 3 people on the intensive care unit fighting COVID. And this in the face of some 138 active cases and 8 additional recoveries. Well, COVID not the only infectious disease, health officials are keeping an eye on. There's the ever-present threat of monkeypox, and this despite there being no such reported or suspected cases within the past 3 to 4 weeks.
We confirmed our order with PAHO for the monkeypox vaccine. Now we're waiting final details as to when we'll receive the same in country. Influenza, we are receiving information about cases of influenza-like illnesses in country, but these numbers are in our known annual surveillance and syndromic notes. We have, however, identified influenza type A, H3N2, the same variant that has been seen around the world, but again, it's not increased numbers or numbers that have us concerned. There's no increased admissions to hospital because of incidental illnesses, and so we're keeping an eye on that as well.
We turn our attention now to news from the courts, where Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson's on the losing end of the first fight in his high-profile corruption case. This as the motion for a judge to recuse herself from the trial was today denied in the Supreme Court. 2 days ago, making his case to the court, Gibson's attorney, Muriel DeSille, took issue with the optics of having his client sit in the prisoner's dock and Supreme Court Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson's history, which he claimed might be cause for perceived bias. The history in question, Judge Grant Thompson's previous marriage to former PLP cabinet minister Peter Bethel, who died back in 2000. Claiming that because Gibson is a member of the opposing Free National Movement, there could be questions of impartiality. Well, to this, Grant Thompson in her decision explained that judges are guided by an oath and are sworn to act honestly, independently, and with integrity. Answering to questions about her relationship with the deceased some 20 years ago, the justice added that she has since remarried and that counsel for Mr. Gibson, who would have been 18 at this time, have not provided any suggestion of any animus contact between the dependent and the deceased. In the end, the justice came to the conclusion that a fair-minded and fair observer, being aware of the judicial oath, would not suspect bias. Also making note that the fate of trial lies not in the judge's hands, but of the jury's. A case management hearing is scheduled for November 7th at 1 p.m. Meantime, trial is set to begin on May 1st of 2023. Meantime, it's not the kind of news we're used to coming out of Abaco, but unfortunately, it's what detectives are up against following a shooting in Crossing Rock last evening. Police left to investigate the circumstances surrounding a homicide and in the process determine who did it. What we can tell you is that officers met the victim's bullet-riddled body at a business. Also on the scene, a 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 2 live rounds of 9mm ammunition. Now, according to police, the victim was taken to the Marsh Harbor Clinic, where he was examined by a doctor and pronounced dead. Investigations continue. Back here in the Capitol, police are questioning 3 armed robbers, ages 19, 21, and 22, in connection with 2 separate incidents. The first around 2 Wednesday afternoon in the East Bay Street area. From all reports, a woman was leaving a business when she was robbed of her handbag. About an hour later, another woman was robbed of her handbag while at a shopping center in Western New Providence. Now, the culprits pinned as the occupants of a turquoise-colored Nissan Note. It was not long after that the robbers were arrested in the area of John F. Kennedy Drive and Bahama Drive.
Hi, this is Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane with a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas. Well, Ian once again has gained hurricane status at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Hurricane Ian was some 240 miles to the south of Charleston, South Carolina, moving towards the north-northeast at 10 miles per hour, but we expect a further shift towards the north later on tonight. Maximum sustained winds are at 75 miles per hour. Now, the forecast track is going to take it right into the southern coast here of the Carolinas. That's going to take place sometime on Friday afternoon early, and once it moves inland, we anticipate rapid weakening of this system. This has been a tropical weather update brought to you by BTC and CBS Bahamas.
Well, meantime, NEMA officials pleased with how the Bahamas fared in the face of nature's terror, Hurricane Ian, which slaughtered the western coast of Florida as a Cat 4 storm. Here at home, the National Emergency Operations Center was this morning deactivated, having gotten the all-clear from the Department of Meteorology. NEMA Commander Captain Stephen Russell sharing details of an assessment.
In Bimini, the clinic was compromised last night, and they had to relocate persons operating the clinic to the administrative building adjacent. Teams from the Defense Force are in Bimini. They're going to assist with securing the roof of that clinic to make sure that no further damage is done to the facility being exposed to the elements. There are reports of some flooding in Allenstown, Porgy Bay area of Bimini. Again, that's a standing problem.
Meantime, power outages plagued Grand Bahama.
But teams from the electrical corporation, they're trying to see how they can rectify that problem as quick as problem as possible to restore power to the western Grand Bahama area. Both in Bimini and Grand Bahama, some 7 or more shelters were open. Persons report to 1 shelter in Bimini and in Grand Bahama. A total of 14 persons report to 1 shelter out of the 7 shelters that were open. So we this morning we deactivate all of our shelter programs in the island.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, parliamentarians mark history. Details coming up after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It has the looks, the style, the performance. Your new car is everything you always dreamed of. Now it's here. Commonwealth Bank was happy to help put you behind the wheel with a new car loan at a competitive rate and fast, friendly approval. It's a service that just comes naturally to us, just like how love of tradition comes naturally to you. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
You watch them grow and make plans for them even before they're old enough to talk. You spend a lifetime of sacrifice to pave the way for their success and create a tomorrow you too can be proud of. Can you tell who is the investor? At Leno, we believe everyone who has ever put a penny aside for a future dream is an investor. If you're new to investing, Leno's financial experts stand ready to design plans based on your goals. Let's sit down and explore the options one-on-one and see how, together, we can make your dreams come true. Whether considering traditional investments like a new home, car, your own business, security in retirement, or your child's college fund, we take the confusion out of the process and make an investor out of you. Call 396-3225 for an appointment. Leno, your bridge to the future.
Well, it's not often you see former and sitting parliamentarians sitting together, but observance of the 293rd establishment of Parliament presented the ideal opportunity. The group marking the occasion at a luncheon at the Atlantis Grand Ballroom. Here's Prime Minister Philip Davis on the importance of such a gathering.
I want us to, you who have been there, I always tell my colleagues, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to take advice. And I take advice from both sides of the aisle because at the end of the day, we have to believe that all of us have the interests of the Bahamas at heart. We may take a different route to get to the destination, but at the end of the day, we need to appreciate that each of us have something to offer each of us, and let us move on in that spirit.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard adding that it's important for Parliament to manage its own budget, hire its own staff, and proper remuneration for that arm of government.
I've signaled to this administration our commitment to work with them in ensuring that we have the clear separation of powers. We know that there are at least 2 proposals on the table. We would support either of them making it to the finish line. So whether it is the bill proposed by our former Speaker or it is an amendment to the Powers and Privileges Act, we stand ready to have a candid discussion, but to ensure that we have a clear separation of power, that we pay respect not merely in rhetoric, but in the action we take in empowering the Parliament of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and making sure that they can do the work that the people have given them constitutional power to execute.
Well, for some, it was billed as a Mia Motley-styled address to the United Nations. We're referring to the Prime Minister's speech during which he pushed the message that Black-governed countries matter. Furthermore, he questioned why all targeted countries are small and vulnerable and former European colonies, and expressed disappointment with the European Union's decision to blacklist the Bahamas.
What I said is that the evidence is mounting that the targeted countries for blacklisting or uncooperative countries appear to be. They're all, if you look at the list, you'll find that they're all small, you find that they're vulnerable, and you all find that the EU, they were either colonies or one of the UE states. And that suggests to me, and it's compelling evidence to suggest, that black-governed countries don't appear to matter to the European Union. And my cry was to ensure that the United Nations take over the policing of the anti-money and anti-laundering and terrorist financing regime to make it more fair for small island developing states.
And while no racial tensions exist globally, he shared why he took such a stance and how the country is addressing those compliance concerns.
I'm speaking for the Bahamas, and we are being hurt by countries outside our realm, and the time has come for them to account for what they are doing and doing to us. I'm not going to sit idly by and not make the case. What we want to be able to do is do the same thing that the big countries are able to do. And so if they require me to pass a bill that impacts the financial services industry, I'd like to know that they're doing the same thing. Our regime is set up to suit our purpose, and we are the most regulated, we're one of the best regulated financial jurisdiction in the world. But yet still there appears to be this constant moving of the goalposts and this constant result.
We're going to shift our attention now to the Garden State. That's where it's at for the Bahamas as tourism officials push their pitch to lock in more visitors and investments. Our Cleopatra Murphy has all the details of how.
It's an attempt to reclaim the Bahamas' spot in the tourism market and take it a step further by expanding it. Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, is leading a delegation to New York and New Jersey, courting industry stakeholders, and he says the aim is to draw more business to the Bahamas.
First of all, New York is an important market for us. It's our strongest market in the Northeast. We want to reclaim our territory. We've done a successful mission to Florida. We're now here in New York and New Jersey area, and we're going to tell the world and tell the residents and citizens of this area that we're open for business, we'll welcome them back, and we're better than before.
The Ministry of Tourism hosted stakeholders to a trade show and reception at the Manor in New Jersey Wednesday evening. And while the Bahamas is known for its sand, sun, and sea, the minister wants people to know it's more than that.
Over and above our sun, and sea is the warmth and the hospitality of our people. It's something we can't really explain, but we hope that people will come to experience themselves. So we're going to talk a lot about our culture, our heritage. Yes, the sun, and sea is key, but we're going to talk about our 16-island destination If you want party and cosmopolitan, you go to Nassau. If you want ecotourism and adventure, you go to Grand Bahama. If you want seclusion and ecotourism, you go to any of the other 14 island destinations.
While the Davis administration has fielded criticism for excessive travel, Cooper says missions like these serve a real purpose.
Tourism is our bread and butter. It's 65% of our economy. It's our main industry. It's the engine that drives our economy. And the tourists that we seek are not in the Bahamas, they're abroad. We have to go where they are, we have to tell our own story, we have to invite them to the Bahamas, and this is what we do.
Keeping true to the mission's theme of bringing the Bahamas to you, Junkanoo descended on New Jersey as sounds of the goatskin drum and the sights of brightly colored costumes closed the night out. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Now, we can also tell you the tourism minister is encouraged by the outcome of the 41st Triennial Assembly of the International Civil Aviation Organization in Montreal, Canada, this past Tuesday. He believes it was important that the Bahamas be represented as it looks to advance private, closely tied to tourism. While there, Minister Cooper also had the opportunity to advance discussions with officials from Qatar.
In the sidelines, we had opportunity to meet with many of our counterparts around the world. Qatar, for example, who wants to provide some technical assistance in aviation, but to Bahamas Air specifically. Qatar Airways, one of the largest, more profitable airlines in the world, will work hand in hand with Bahamas Air. We have been able to solidify that relationship over the course of the last few days in Montreal. We have been able to get their commitment to support our aviation academy. So these are just some of the things that we've been able to achieve and accomplish as a result of our participation at the ICAO Assembly in Montreal.
He says within the next 3 years, the Bahamas also plans to launch a campaign to have a seat on ICAO's International Assembly.
At the moment, there are 36 representatives. We want to be one of them.
Well, now time for our weekly poll question. And for those of you who haven't participated, there's still time to do so. Here's how it works. Listen in for the question and then log on to our website, www.znesbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer. That's all it takes. This week's question, which of the following do you think the Davis administration should focus on in its second year in office? A, economy, B, crime, C, healthcare, or D, education? The poll's final results will be aired on Friday. And thanks for participating. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Stay with us.
Time to save with a new perspective, where the focus is on values and principles, and people are just as important as profits, where we believe in democracy and equality, and your vote counts, where profits are shared with our members, who are also our owners, to ensure that by working together, we all win, where education of our members and training our staff are one of our highest priorities, where we serve our members' needs through continued cooperative initiatives because of our concern for the communities in which we live. Join more than 40,000 Bahamians who have made the smarter choice. Join the movement. Join a credit union. People helping people to help themselves.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth. Visit us today. Capital Lumber. Build strong.
Super
super savings on quality products. That's the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow tuna, 5 ounce, 99 cents. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, $2.59. Yellow grits, $1.49 per pound. Bone-in chicken breasts, $2.69 per pound. Sweet bananas, 99 cents per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses, including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road, and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
Throughout all of our family islands, a Family Guardian home service agent can meet all your insurance needs. We offer life, health, and property and casualty insurance policies to help protect you, your loved ones, and your assets. With offices in Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Grand Bahama, and agents throughout the islands of the Bahamas, a Family Island agent is always nearby. Family Guardian, at your service, at your door. For any inquiries, WhatsApp us at 357-9632.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
When food and beverage delivery meets technology, a great experience is birthed. At least that's been the experience of Craven Services owner Kyle Albury, who today told Rotarians that the 2019 conceived business is progressing well.
We've seen tremendous growth from our initial launch. And we launched actually 6 months prior to COVID, so that was a very, very challenging time for us. Exciting, but also challenging. Because the first 6 months, we were just working through some of the kinks of starting a new business, like any new business. But that was compounded by the fact that we had an increased demand, threefold, in the span of a month, because my service became more of a need versus a luxury service. So it was very, very challenging. We had to ensure that we, maintain good quality service. And so that was an extremely very challenging, very difficult time for us at the time.
Albury was the guest speaker at the weekly Rotary meeting at the Poop Deck. Having started with only 19 vendors on the application and 50 drivers, Craven's numbers have since grown. With locations in Grand Bahama and Exuma, Albury plans to expand outside the country, but he admits challenges come with operating the business.
I've seen a tremendous amount of issues regarding fraudulent-related activity, and that's something that I think that's going to increase as more companies move online. I think we as a business community really need to work with each other to, I guess, try to mitigate some of these types of activities. You find a lot of the criminals now, they're moving away from going to rob a bank and going online and committing credit card fraud because it's easier. I think the risk is less for them. So that has been a major challenge for us, but we have been working with the banks. We've been working with other companies to devise fraud solutions to deter and mitigate from these types of transactions.
Today, World Maritime Day, and earlier this week, students from the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Corps and cadets from the LJM Maritime Academy were hosted to a panel symposium at the University of the Bahamas. For more on what was discussed in tonight's reception event, We're joined by our Lloyd Allen.
Well, good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. Tonight we're here at the Margaritaville Beach Resort, where experts in the maritime field have teamed up for a cocktail reception to honor former Minister of Transport, the Honorable Glenna Hannah Martin. Now, she has served in that capacity for 2 terms. Also, earlier this week, a panel discussion held at the University of the Bahamas, bringing together industry experts with youngsters eager to get their careers started in the field.
We're pleased with the turnout we've had. Let's give that perspective, wisdom to the next generation.
Facilitator and Managing Director at the Bahamas Maritime Authority, Captain Dwayne Hutchinson, says the event held on Tuesday brought under one umbrella some of the brightest accomplished professionals in the field, including Chairman of the Bahamas Shipowners Association, John Adams, who lauded the renowned reputation of the Bahamas globally.
The recognition we get from the U.S. and having our ships trading there, and other areas which become important. There is what's called the Paris MOU, which is one of the large port state control authorities, and the Bahamas flag is always amongst the highest rated.
For this reason, he says career possibilities are ripe, ranging from deckhands to ship officers, with current estimates suggesting an employment shortfall in excess of 26,000 globally.
So the 26,000 creates a massive opportunity there, a void that we can fill.
Even as supply chain challenges have been reported, BSA Vice Chairman Domenico Rognoni suggests in transshipment, timing is everything.
There are tremendous disruptions in the labor markets, and what that means is that the biggest and best companies are looking for good people.
Students Aaliyah Stewart and Amali Hart say presentations such as this continue to help in fine-tuning their aspirations.
There's a vast majority of prospects for the females in the industry. We could do just as the same as men, still come out on top, and we still have a long, thriving career in the end.
I think that the maritime industry in the Bahamas is stretched really well. I feel as if we have more of these conferences, we could have more people out there that would be interested in the field.
Also, a number of students from the Bahamas Maritime Cadet Corps say they see the maritime industry as their future pathway towards success.
There's a lot of opportunities, to get a good education, get a good job.
I want to be a boat captain because I just interested in cruise ships, and want to drive cruise ships, interested in the waters and everything.
I didn't know the maritime field provided an engineering pathway, so that encouraged me to join this program.
Now, apart from that event on Tuesday, Hannah Martin is being recognized, and the expectation is that these industry experts will discuss many of the matters relevant to the maritime industry as Bahamas continues to chart a way forward. Reporting from Margaritaville Beach Resort for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. And he's done it again. Retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Thompson has written his 3rd book entitled Policing in the Bahamas, which, as he describes it, offers vital information on crime prevention education. Thompson today presenting a copy of his book to wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis.
It's very important because I'd like people to read the book. And I know Mrs. Davis has a lot of contacts in the right places. She might be able, I am hoping that some of the people I'm seeing could donate books. The book is sold at $25, but you might find that people donating books to the police would help in its sales. Because I think that there's a lot of information in this book for police officers, education and information.
Thompson penned his first book, Basic Training, in 2004. It covers everything from the Commission of Inquiry to national security versus shantytowns, crime to tourism.
I am happy, Paul, that you have brought this book for me.
Yeah.
I will definitely be sharing it with many people. I will even give it out as gifts. Yeah. I will invite probably the Commissioner of Police to invest in buying some of these books to distribute to his departments. Your book serves to protect the nation children and adults, and to make people smarter and to be alert on what to look for. And we thank you for your years of service and your dedication in the police force. You've been a father to many, and giving these books to them would teach them.
Yes.
And make them into, I'm sure, much better police officers.
Sickle cell, a disease many around the world battle, with the fight here at home no less intense. Some warriors, though, are smaller than others. But the objective remains the same, of raising awareness. Jiminita Swain tells us more.
My daughter is 7 years old. She was diagnosed at birth with sickle cell SS, which is the most severe form of sickle cell.
Amanda Dean is the secretary for the Bahamas Sickle Cell Association, who has hosted a number of activities this month to raise awareness about the disease. Dean, she knows firsthand how easy a sickler can go into crisis. Her daughter's first encounter was as a baby.
On the Monday when I would have normally dropped her off to my mother to take care of her, I noticed that she had already started to turn blue. So right then and there, I knew that was time now for me to call Dr. Sinkwe, who is our local pediatrician, and go straight to the ER. And within hours, I was being asked to make a decision on having her transfused because her blood level had dropped to 4.
As the name suggests, sicklers have a sickle-shaped red blood cells, which can lead to problems. Sickle cells tend to stick together, blocking the flow of blood. This causes a delay in oxygen that needs to be transported to the organ.
My main goal in life is to draw attention to it. I want every mother to be equipped with the knowledge that I had. I grieve when we lose a warrior. So it really is important that, and it's a personal and passionate mandate for me to raise awareness on this disease, because I don't feel as if it gets enough attention.
One way of doing that was a blood drive at the Mullet Marathon. Atlantis has also committed to lighting it up red.
We would not be able to achieve a lot of the initiatives that we do without corporate sponsorship. This year, what was different was we partnered with Atlantis with our Shine the Light on Sickle Cell campaign. They graciously agreed to change the exterior lighting on their Royal and Beach Towers to red to signify Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So not only did we gain local exposure, but we also gained international exposure.
Ultimately, while the disease has its challenges, Dean believes that with more awareness, sicklers can lead a better quality of life. She also encourages willing and able-bodied persons to join the organization as volunteers. Jiminita Swain for the Bahamas Tonight.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Opa!
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
I'm Corvell Pyfrom with great news for us and for all of you. We've just recently reopened our contact center with in-person call center agents. It's great news for us because after being apart for more than 2 years, it's great to reconnect face-to-face with our BTC family at our Popol Track campus.
Today is actually the very first day for our call center staff to be back into work. Since COVID started, the team has been working from home. And so now this is, the most exciting day for us because everyone returns back to the office.
We restaffed the contact center. That's getting geared up now to come on the phones. At the end of the month, they'll be on the phones. But even now, we have persons working overtime to make sure that we answer calls.
I would like to say that 25 new recruits have joined the BTC family, and we would have had a job fair some months ago, and these new recruits came directly from that job fair. 25 young Bahamians now have the opportunity to be a part of the biggest, best telco brand in the entire world, that is BTC. And so if you hear the improved customer experience in our contact center, you'll know that we are retooling, re-equipping, retraining, and making certain that all of our agents are ready for the 21st century class customer experience.
Improving your overall customer service experience is something we are committed to doing here at BTC, and our call center agents are here to help you. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corvell Pyfrom. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Here at Solomon's, we're all about family. We believe in quality brands and giving you what you need and more for every occasion. Our store is filled with items for the entire family, celebrating everyday living for you and those you love. Shopping is now more rewarding than ever with My Solomon's Smart Rewards. Shop Solomon's because family matters.
A hidden gem, Mayaguana offers visitors miles of untouched nature, beaches, and unmatched tranquility. The only thing is, Bahamas Air offers just 2 flights per week, arriving to a subpar structure in desperate need of repair. The island's MP, the Honourable Basil McIntosh, shares plans for a new terminal.
The original plan was supposed to be a part of the I Group development. However, they're no longer here. And it's my understanding now that the new group, which is the Mayaguana Development, it was their plan now to take over and to do the terminal as planned. Now, they do have the structural components for it. However, that's not being erected yet.
And while there is some interesting history at the foundation of the structure, McIntosh assures the government remains committed to upgrading the facility.
It's leaking right now, as you see, water on the inside. And so I think it's going to be a priority for the government. The history behind this building is, like I said, it's been around for a very long time. Administration came and went, and until like I said, everybody was encouraged and enthused when the I group came up and said they would develop the island in phases, and the airport was the first part of that.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. Cloudy skies outside of our studios. Temperature at 88 degrees. Relative humidity 74%. The winds out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,007.2 millibars. That's 29.74 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the family violence this evening. They are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. It is 85 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Turkey, and Marshall, Abaco. The Berry Islands, 89. Allenstown, Bimini, 83 degrees. 84 in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera. Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space at Andros at 85 degrees. 81 degrees in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. Allenstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, 83 degrees. 84 in Georgetown, Exuma. 85s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Meguana, 84. Ackles, 84. Matthew, Taniagua, 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center in the Northwestern Islands tonight through tomorrow. South to southwest winds, so speeds around 15 to 20 knots with rough seas, 5 to 8 feet. So advisories are in place for boaters in the Northwest Bahamas. High tide will take place at 11:04 tonight, another high tide at 11:36 tomorrow morning in the central and southeastern islands. Also through Friday, southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet. So caution flags in place for boaters in the central and southeastern islands through Friday. And as we take you to Saturday in the northwestern islands, the winds become southerly. They fall off 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights will be subsiding 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. So we will drop those advisories on Saturday. Low tide takes place at 6:02 in the morning Saturday. High tide at 12:31 in the afternoon for the central and southeastern islands on Saturday. Winds southeast, also a reduction there, 10 to 15 knots. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
All day I've been home with these little baby kids. And he reached for me. Well, anyway, I gonna fall down the road to see if he down this place down the road. And if he down there, there's gonna be some problems. Because guess what? I got a headache and I tired mine. Every other night, Andrew would call around 8.
Slow temperatures brought to you by your All-Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Prime Minister Philip Davis told public school principals that police-trained school resource officers will be on school campuses to ensure safety, noting that society's problems shows up in schools.
We believe the School Resource Officers Program is a crucial part of the solution, particularly since it relies on the leadership role of principals in achieving success. Principals, as you have long advocated, you deserve physical environments that are not just safe, but conducive to the well-being of students and staff.
Mr. Davis outlined some of the issues educators face.
When children are hungry, when there's little peace in their homes or on the streets of their community, when they face trauma and disruption and loss, they bring all of this into your classrooms. And then we ask you to perform the miracle of creating schools that are safe havens, places of learning and community. We ask you to not only manage human resources and the finances of the school and curricula, we ask you to be guardians and protectors of our children. So, as I said on Sunday, you have our deepest appreciation and gratitude.
The Prime Minister thanked the public school principals and reaffirmed his support as schools opened on August 29th with face-to-face instruction. For Ed Talk, I'm Vaughn Albury.
just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Hey, it's your honorary pump attendant here to educate you on the do's and don'ts at a service station. Here's what you don't do. Do not pull up from the pump without first checking that the nozzle has been removed from your car. Because if you pop this, that's about $600,000 to $30,000 to replace. These things ain't cheap. What you want to do is make sure that the nozzle has been removed, or just wait for the universal sign, which is the double tap.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
You just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles done cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Samantha's always on point. She doesn't miss a thing. When she signs up for any insurance policy, she reads all the fine print. She knows what's covered, what's not covered, and she's aware of her deductibles. When it comes to insurance, it pays to know your policy. Review every insurance policy so you know what you're covered for. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
Welcome to the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Cybersecurity Tip of the Day for default credentials. Default passwords exist with almost every operating system and application. Point number 1, check the default passwords on all hardware and software and change passwords immediately. Test the credentials to see if they are still valid. When changing passwords, make sure that the new password is strong, unique, and stored securely. Remember, stay safe, stay informed, and stay protected.
Kids, let's go! Sean, what are you doing?
I solved it. We'll buy our life insurance policy from this company and then go over here and get our home insurance. Then get our motor policy from right over here.
Or we could just get it all with CG Atlantic. Save a lot of money and effort.
They do it all? Even pensions?
Even pensions.
We're like a husband that doesn't overcomplicate everything. CG Atlantic. Good like that.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The start of the NBA season just around the corner. Buddy Hield currently taking part in his first training camp with the Indiana Pacers after being traded from Sacramento midway through last season. And the Bahamian sharpshooter thinks he's in a much better situation now to show he has an all-around game.
When I was in Sacramento, I won't say I was limited, but I just like the guys. We had Tyrese and Fox, and we had guys that do all the passing. So I was just playing my role as a shooter. And I think that when I came here, I think Rick offense just allowed me to like expand a little bit more and show what I can show. Allow me to play freely and just random thinking and random spraying on the ball and just having fun out there, man.
As Buddy looks forward to the upcoming season with the Pacers, trade rumors continue to swirl, but the Bahamian believes everything will work out.
Once I have a job, and as long as I can play in this league for a long time, I'm happy. It doesn't matter where I end up or where I go, I'm still here. I'm just glad to play basketball at a high level with the best players in the world.
The college tennis season in full swing. Dante and Bristow with a big win for Hampton University at the Elon Fall Invitational. He teamed with Emiliano Joquera to win 3 matches and take the championship in the Phoenix doubles bracket, and Bristow also taking part in the Phoenix singles bracket. He made it to the second round before falling to Ito Blanco from NCA&T 6-2 and 7-6. 2 Bahamians, meantime, representing their respective schools in a duel. Elena Mackey and Mars Hill swept aside Shaitonia Missick and Johnson C. Smith. Mackey won her singles match easily, 6-1 and love. She also teamed with Amanda Kaderi for a 7-6 win in doubles. As for Missick, she was on the wrong end of a 7-5, 6-1 loss in singles. In doubles, she teamed with Sinead Hewitt, and they would fall 6-2. The collegiate water polo season rolling along as well. At the Mid-Atlantic Conference crossover, Saquon Miller and Salem finishing up 1-2. Miller had a steal in a 15-8 loss to Bucknell. He followed that up with another steal and an assist in an 18-15 win over Johns Hopkins. The final game saw Salem going down 23-9 to George Washington, where Miller registered 3 shots on goal. Nicholas Wallace Whitfield and the Mount St. Mary's water polo team, they had a busy week, playing 5 matches in 6 days, finishing up with a 4-1 record. Wallace Whitfield registering 2 goals in a 28-14 win over Penn State Barron. He added another goal in a 16-13 loss to Navy. The Howard University Bison opening their college swimming season at the Potomac Relays. Luke Kennedy Thompson helping the Bison to a first-place finish in the 400 medley relay, a third-place finish in the 800 freestyle relay, and a sixth-place finish in the 300 breaststroke relay. Zaylee Elizabeth Thompson assisting the Bison with a pair of top 3 finishes in the 800 freestyle relay and the 400 medley relay. She was also part of the Bison's 300 breaststroke team, which finished 4th. And talking about 4th-place finishes, Mark Anthony Thompson, the Bison, with a pair of those as well in the 300 breaststroke and 1,000 freestyle relays. As for Kalia Albury, she helped the Bison pick up a pair of 8th-place finishes in the 500 and 1,000 freestyle relays. The inaugural University of the Bahamas cross-country meet set for this weekend at the Queen Elizabeth Sports Center. The Open Division will run a 4-kilometer course. The Under-17 Division a 3-kilometer course. The Under-15 and Under-13 divisions will tackle a 2-kilometer course, while the Under-11 division will take part in a 1-kilometer course.
We did a challenging course all within the same area of the new stadium, around the gym, in the carnival area, down by where the grass is. They're going to do a loop around the track. So everything is in one area where the coaches can be able to move on the field, cheer the athletes on. We want to make this a fun-filled event. Definitely, a competitive one, because we're looking in the future to have, when those colleges come in to compete at the collegiate level, and we also have the high school where they could be able to get recruited all at the same time.
We're well known in the community for what we do in track and field. And so a part of the athletic agenda is to expand our cross-country element. And so I think it's important that we display at the university level what we have, some of the recruits that we've been able to attract. And this will also give us a great way to see what's out there as far as cross-country talent. And so we're very excited that this is the first one, and we look forward for this to be a long-standing event that the community can look forward to.
Lucius Fox and the Rochester Red Wings closing out their AAA baseball season. They finished up with a record of 67 and 87. Fox played in 55 of those games while also making his Major League debut for the Nationals on opening day. For the season, the Bahamians scored 28 runs on 47 hits with 7 doubles, 2 triples, 4 long balls, and 25 stolen bases with a batting average of .228. The inaugural Fred Starr Boxing Championship, all history now. The highlight of the night saw Misha Major Payne come out of retirement for a night for an exhibition with Anthony Psycho Woods.
First of all, I got to give Almighty God thanks. Thanks to him that myself and Anthony Woods sustained any injuries. Congratulations to all the participants that participated in this event. And also the fight fans that came and supported these younger guys. And that let us know that boxing has a chance to rebuild itself back to the glory days of which it was. We are able to keep the sport of boxing alive and take it to a whole new level where my trainer, my former trainer and coach left it off. I'm just happy to be able to take part in something that's more meaningful, being honored, Frederick's up being honored in the sport of boxing. Because he's somebody that I look up to as a mentor. He's somebody that I think that has done a lot for the sport of boxing in the Bahamas.
The honoree himself grateful for the recognition.
I've been connected to the National Amateur Boxing Program from the very beginning when we started in 1968, and I'm indeed happy and proud to see the resurgence in boxing.
That's a look at sports. Check on weather up next.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
A household name carries a lot of approval. And when you're shopping for household, you need a household name. For 50 years, Bahamas Welding and Fire has been a household name in outdoor grills and kitchen appliances. Need to beautify that yard space for your grill? BWF has it covered. For the industrial worker, you can find a complete line of tools and safety equipment. For the welder of any level or budget, you can find the right machinery to power everything. There's no shortage on power with a wide array of generators. And safety is everyone's responsibility. Find everything needed to protect everyone on the worksite. Over 40,000 square feet of shopping space in a convenient location. Bahamas Welding and Fire. We're more than just our name. Located number 13 Wilton Street.
Welcome to the Global Learning Exchange. We're partnering with BIBT to bring opportunities for higher education to the Bahamas. Earn your degree from a university in the U.S. right here at home. Visit us online to learn more.
Being the CFO at this young age, it really is very fulfilling to me, and it really shows that the hard work, the hours that I put in my career, they really paid off. Having such young persons in such a key role really shows that the board of directors have a lot of trust in the leadership of the young people. Being committed to excellence means that you put all of your effort into whatever it is you're doing to get the best benefit out of that task or anything you're doing in life.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we still have that feeder band from Hurricane Ian right across the central Bahamas, and that will continue to fire pockets of showers and thunderstorms. And then by tomorrow, as Ian makes that turn towards the north and eventually north-northwest, we'll see that feeder band shift back towards the towards the west, pardon me. And again, that could trigger some pockets of showers and thunderstorms all parts of the northwest Bahamas tomorrow. Our forecast for tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a couple of showers developing late, 77 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, it's going to be a day of showers and thunderstorms, and some parts of the area turning partly sunny in the afternoon. The high temperature going to get up to about 86 degrees, and your extended weather forecast for the next several days. A couple of showers and thunderstorms into Saturday, but by Saturday, things start improving. Sunday, a lot better with much more sunshine in our forecast, and that trend will continue into the early part of next week. Patricia.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.